Hello and welcome everyone. This is Ascend from the AscendX7 channel over at twitch.tv/AscendX7. And today we're going to take a look at the additional content in the Hunter Call of the Wild, specifically the geese and the DLC that you can purchase that provides additional gear to help you more effectively hunt geese. So I'm not sure if you could hear, we just had a flock fly by us just a second ago. And to find the geese in the game, you need to go to Hirschfelden map, and then you kind of need to just find the cornfields and just kind of wander through them. Pick a nice one, set up in it, and do some calling. I've had my best luck by actually just walking until I hear them and then setting up and calling. That's information for a different video. Let's physically look at what comes with the DLC first. And I believe it's like $4. And you get basically one weapon, and it comes in 3 different versions, however. So if you take a quick look at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, you'll see it changes with the weapon that I'm highlighting. So it's a 20 gauge shotgun, and it comes in Hazel, Fiona, and Scarlet. So if you notice, it's basically the stock changes and the barrel coloration changes just a little bit. Next, you get this really cool goose call. Very effective. I mean, that's by far the best thing that they've added as far as attracting the geese to you. The next pretty cool things are like the different decoys. They help attract, but you're gonna live and die with the caller when it comes to actually getting the geese to come to you. The 3 different decoys are the feeding, the searching, and the sentry. And basically what these do is when you call the geese to you, these tell them where to land. So that's basically the same thing it would be in actual goose hunting in real life. So the final thing is the layout blind. I think it's really neat in practice because, again, it kind of looks pretty cool. I don't know that it's the most effective way to get cover in the game, but honestly, it just kind of looks cool. So that's something, right? So let's go ahead and throw out some decoys here so we can take a quick peek at them. And that would be, I believe, the feeding, searching, and the sentry. And when you look at them, honestly, I mean, I don't know that there's a necessity to have a mixture of these out when you're hunting. I don't know if that changes the effectiveness. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But what I do know is when you actually look at the statistics for the decoys, it tells you that the range of effectiveness is 500 meters. That's pretty daggone good. The downside is that they only have an attraction strength of 2 points. So why that's important or significant to note is when you look at your collar, it too has a range of 500 meters. That's amazing. It has an attractive strength of 40, which is actually pretty daggone good when you compare it to other calls in the game. So it's got an amazing range and a pretty daggone good effective strength. So when we were talking about the 2 points of attraction strength for the decoys, what I believe and what I've had a couple people tell me while I was playing was that the attraction strength is a cumulative effect. So if you put 20 decoys out in your field, it'll give you the same attraction strength as using your collar. And I mean, it seems very logical to do it that way. Someone even said that the developers mentioned putting 15 to 20 in your field is kind of optimal. But to me, it just sounds like, hey, throw 20 out and it'll give you the same effectiveness as a collar. And combine that with you're using your collar, you should be effective, right? And from practice, it seems to be true. So let's go ahead and we're gonna hope this spot pays out. Let's throw out about 20 decoys, give or take. And I have no clue if you really need to be diligent with the pattern that you put out, if that plays effect. I'm not a goose hunter in real life, and I have absolutely no clue how in depth the developers were with regards to making the game realistic. So the next thing I want to do is throw out my blind here. I'm going to actually go back into, if it'll let me, I'm going to go into the grass just a little bit. So we'll go ahead and throw that down and hop in the blind. This is what I actually think is pretty neat. I mean, it gives you the sense that you're actually, you know, kind of hidden. You know, if you look at the little bar at the bottom right corner of the screen in the HUD, it tells you you're not completely invisible. But, you know, it's a lot better than, you know, just literally standing out here in the wide open. It's better than a crouch. It's equivalent to being prone, however. So you can, in my opinion, lay prone in the game and get the same effect as using the blind. I don't have a tree around here that will do it, so let's run over here real quick. Let's see if one of these little trees will do it. This, however, if you hide in this is actually, you're pretty much completely invisible here. You notice that the visibility bar is grayed out. So in my opinion, hiding under a little tree like this and calling is going to be better than hiding in the decoy, in the actual blind, I mean. So let's give a few calls and see what happens. I would love to see some come flying in to show you guys what they look like when they're landing. So let's give this a whirl here. And I do not know if you can overcall in this game, as far as with this particular call. I know in goose hunting, I've seen, you know, I haven't actually done it, but I've watched, you know, videos and seen it on TV and stuff like that. And it seems like the guys are pretty much calling the whole time. So I'm kind of going to just kind of do that myself. And I already hear geese coming. So let's just kind of keep this going. Well, I heard geese coming. There they are. Yeah, I hear them again. They're coming in from behind. And what they typically do is they come in a formation. It's not always the V, but this one's the, you know, this is the traditional V that we see when they're migrating. When they start reacting to the call and the decoys, they break formation. Sometimes they get in a straight line, but you can tell you're having an effect on them when they change, you know, the formation changes. And in this case, not only have the formation changed a little bit, they've actually fully circled back around. Now I see some dropping down. I don't know where they're going though. Here they go. Nice. Here we go. And I'll just go ahead and stay here for a moment and let them land. I'm not super worried about harvesting them. So we got geese on the ground. Not too shabby, guys. So put out your decoys. You can use your blind and then do some calling, and you have geese right in front of you. And we have one on the ground. Very nice. Missed the first shot, but that's okay. So that's the new added animal to the Hunter Call of the Wild. It is the goose. And I think, although we didn't get but one, I think that was an adequate display of that's how you use the equipment in the game. So if you have any questions, guys, feel free to ask them in the comments. I will give you some fair warning. There have been quite a few bugs introduced with this DLC. I've experienced a lot of goose mishaps. They literally get stuck to the ground. They will hover in the air and spin in a circle at light speed. It's kind of crazy. They'll fly sideways. So don't expect this to be perfect. In fact, kind of go in eyes wide open that this is at times a hot mess. There's a game called Goose Crash, which is basically one goose, two goose, game crashes. I hate to say it, that's happened a lot to a lot of people. I've been blessed that it hasn't happened to me. But so far, you know, I'm enjoying it, but I'm also frustrated that there's been so many problems. That experience that you just saw there was probably best case scenario. There's supposed to be a fourth patch to the DLC in the beginning of next week. So hopefully that will fix the remainder of the problems. But again, enough rambling. I get yelled at for rambling too much in my videos. That is an introduction to the new animals in the game as well as the elements in the DLC. So I hope everyone has a blessed day. Happy hunting. And don't forget to stop over at twitch.tv/AscendX7 and give me a follow if you have not done so there. And if you have not subscribed to the channel on YouTube, do so now. Later, guys.